new tonight fears that not since 1962 have we had such enemy forces near our shore. According to one report, Venezuela, over the last several years, has, take a look at this, amassed 5,000 of these things, long-range Russian-made surface-to-air missiles. You can see it here. These pictures come courtesy of Reuters. And with Russia on his side, the socialist dictator there, Nicolas Maduro, is refusing to budge. And this is despite all these scenes that we saw all weekend long. Like I said, a guy who can't take a hint. Here with me right now, someone with some special insight into the Kremlin's thinking on this issue. Live from London, Russian financier Maxim Shashenkov. Maxim, good to see you again.
Hello, Trish.
What do you know about these weapons, these in particular?
Well, not much, to be honest, but, in my view, there are more smoke around this situation rather than really policy moves. I think there is a consistent line taken by the Kremlin to actually show commitment, political, strategic, geopolitical, to the current rulers of Venezuela, and that would continue. We'll see a lot of smoke, but very few of us would know the reality on the ground.
But why do that? Right? I mean, it's right here in our backyard. Why interfere with Venezuela right now when we have made it very clear? And frankly, Maxim, the people have made it very clear they don't want Maduro in that seat.
You're right and wrong simultaneously. We remember the situation in Iraq, in the Middle East. I'm actually a Middle Eastern expert. So U.S. always states very noble and right in many ways objectives, but implementation is a disaster, really big problem. So one question, very simple question, is to what extent really policy moves, so policy steps, which would be followed through by the U.S. administration, will actually bring better results than we have now.
Well, maybe, can I jump in? Because I've poured through the statistics there in Venezuela, and gosh, I think anyone at this point, Max, would be better down there, because it is such a disaster. 90% of the people are living in poverty. It's been a 20-year failed, miserable economic experience. Clearly the worst in modern history. So, to say, well, what is, it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. In this case, I'd roll the dice and say the devil I don't know might actually be a heck of a lot better than Nicolas Maduro running things.
Yes, but there is even bigger devil, which is civil war and chaos. I myself, I worked in Libya before the destruction of Libya. So to be honest, it was bad. It was very bad. It was a dictatorship. It was awful, ugly. But what we had afterwards, following Western interference, is 10 times worse. So what we are worried about is not actually democracy or capitalism. We are worried about possible chaos, which could result from action, sometimes noble action, of the U.S. administration.
So you fear civil war. So one would think
Yes, we do fear civil war, and we fear that, obviously interests of other great powers, such as Russia, China, Turkey, are going to be ignored completely, as usual.
Well, I understand that you guys would like to have a hand in things down there. I mean, obviously, it's a very profitable, potentially profitable place, given the Orinoco oil region. But, theoretically, you'd have that opportunity, right? If they opened up their economy so that the U.S., so that Russian, anybody could come in that had a dollar to spend, that's not necessarily the worst thing.
We had exactly the same chat with Americans about Ukraine, with Europe. Why not do Ukraine sort of a mutual area of cooperation between the European Union and Russia? Let's sign a treaty between the EU and Customs Union. Let's not develop NATO. Let's make mutually arranged security treaty which would fit into everybody's sort of framework of mind and stage of development.
Do you think that this is actually a negotiating tool then? I mean, is that what this is about? Well, is this, Putin saying, listen, if you stay out of Ukraine, I'll stay out of Venezuela, and we can call it a deal?
No. It's all about, let's sit down and try to take everybody's interests into consideration, find some compromise, and be following this compromise through rather than taking decisions unilaterally, even if you are probably the most advanced and the most developed country in the world.
Maxim, it's always good to get your perspective.